it seems like turkey don't exist. All of a sudden, you're thinking, there's no gobbler, there's no turkey. How many of you have been guilty of this? How many of you turkey hunters have been guilty of, especially in your earlier years, turkey hunting and chasing the old gobbler, tom, northeastern wild turkey? How many of you, like me, have been guilty of thinking 2 weeks and 3, 4 weeks into the season, into a long 5-week long turkey hunting season? How many of you, including myself, have been guilty of just feeling like and thinking, there's no turkey? Where all the turkey go? Where are the gobblers? Suddenly, what was easy, what was like pretty turkey hunting to a hunter, a lot of times they think that they have like a picture painted in their mind that it's supposed to be really, really like amazing, like just this like awesome action packed, like beautiful hunt. That's just that, like where there's a lot of calling and a lot of answering back from the gobbler, a lot of gobbling back to the turkey, yelping and clucking and purring. That what once was simply just and here he comes, boom, tag filled. All of a sudden, it's not so easy anymore. And it's not as fun and pretty. The turkey hunting isn't pretty anymore all of a sudden. Here we are 3 weeks in to the Maine's northeastern wild turkey hunt, and there's still like 2 weeks left. There's still hope. There's still time. Don't give up. How many of you turkey hunters out there, and I'm guilty of this, have given up too early? Especially when the black flies start coming on thick and the heat is on and the days are hotter. The black flies are thick and unbearable, and so forth and so on. And you just want to give up. You just want to pack it all up, hang the shotgun, put the turkey vest away, and just give up. How many of you have been guilty of that, of just wanting to give up? I'm telling you right now that some of the best gobbler hunt, the best turkey hunting, chasing those big, mature, older gobblers, tom turkey, it has begun now, right now, midway, middle, late season is some of the best turkey hunting that you could ever experience as a turkey hunter. And I'm going to share with you some real live turkey hunting success stories, at least 2 for sure. Maybe I'll get into 3 real life turkey hunting experiences late season where I've had late season success, and I will share with you the things I've learned from that, from sitting all day. Yes, I will, hands down, for no apparent reason really, I will sit all day to fill a gobbler tag, late season gobbler tag, and I've had success doing that, and I've learned so much doing that. So there's no gobbling. The gobblers seem to have disappeared. The hens are nesting. The clutches probably have hatched, and hens have poults. And suddenly the woods seem to quiet down and be void of gobblers and gobbler activity. And you're thinking that all is lost. But I'm telling you, if you stick it out, don't give up. Don't give up hope. You will tag a gobbler. You will kill a late season gobbler. And maybe you're already tagged out. That could be the case. Some of you are done. Maybe you have 1 tag full. Maybe some of you still have yet to shoot a gobbler this season. Well, this live stream is going to help you fill one of those tags, if not fill the last tag that you have in your pocket. So who's come on? We have IDEX Z. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Hi, Dex. How are you tagged out? We have Rebecca Brown. Hi there. How you doing, Rebecca Brown? Are you a turkey hunter, Rebecca? And are you tagged out? You still have turkey hunting tags? IDEX says, hi. Hey, how you doing, buddy? I've always wanted to go hunt. Oh, Rebecca says she's always wanted to go hunting. This whole, like, not being able to see, I'm, like, nearsighted. Things got to stop. I'm going to get my computer up going so I can join the chat. We've got some people joining. That's awesome. I want you to ask your questions, shoot your questions. And I'm going to ask the first question. Then I want you guys to ask me questions. How many of you turkey hunters out there have been successful at filling late season gobbler tags in your turkey hunts, wherever you, from whatever state you're from, wherever you're turkey hunting? How many of you have killed late season gobblers? And what were your tactics for that? What was your approach and your way of thinking? Like, how'd you go about killing late season gobbler? Let us know in the comments. So I'm going to bring up this live stream on my laptop screen. I'm going to join the chat so we can have a two-way conversation here. So it's not just my ugly mug, so it's not just talking head by Justin. I don't want to be the only one talking here. I want you guys to talk back and via text and chat, and we will converse with one another. We'll ask questions, answer one another's questions. We'll go from there. How's that sound, everybody? Okay, so I asked the first question to see if anyone answer. Joel says, I think your room may be haunted. Sweet. Yeah, you think? We got some weird, creepy shadows going on up there, too. So Joel thinks my room may be haunted. So Rebecca Morgan says, can you say Zayden or... wait, my boys have... Oh. Or Xavian. I think it was Zayden and Xavian. Silent X. I'm so very sorry, Rachel. Are you guys seeing this? Rachel's saying that her boys have cancer. See, my best friend just lost his father to cancer. Cancer, cancer affects all families. So I am so sorry to see that. If this is true, what you're saying, Rachel, I give you my deepest. Yeah, I mean, I'm tongue-tied there. Thank you so much for the support. See, my grandmother, she, oh, bless her soul, she passed with cancer. See, who else has cancer in my family or did? My wife lost her father to kidney failure. I've had some deaths in my family due to kidney failure. Well, I can feel your pain and your remorse. And I mean, yeah, you're worried. I imagine you're just very worried and but hopeful at the same time. I want everyone joining the chat now. Please send your prayers up for Rachel Morgan's family. She's dealing with cancer in her family right now. Please, everyone, send your prayers. I'm very sorry to learn of this. So April says hi. Hi, April. How you doing? Clearly, given the thumbnail and what you see, everybody, I'm a hunter. This thumbnail is about currently right now, given the season, the time of year, it's about turkey hunting tactics, late season turkey hunting tactics. And I'm going to join the chat with all of you so I can type away in addition to me speaking. So I asked the first question. How many of you turkey hunters that are joining this live stream now have been successful filling a late season gobbler tag? And how did you manage to do that? Because as I stated earlier, I'm going to be a broken record here because I'm going to repeat some of you that maybe just now joining and may have missed or skipped the beginning. What was once a pretty hunt was in what seemed hands down very easy. Once earlier, maybe a week ago now, earlier in the turkey hunting season, me, myself included, and you could have went in the woods and just done a simple yelp, cluck, and heard a gobble, and maybe answered back a little bit, and then he like maybe cut you off, and you just instantly knew that gobbler was hot on your trail. He was coming, and then wham, you failed to attack, just like that easy. It's not like that now. The goblin has almost shut off completely. There's not much goblin right now. Going into the turkey woods, you might be lucky to hear one gobble, maybe an answer to your covert calling, your light calling, or you just may hear a gobble due to the fact that a crow went off. A crow went and that gobbler maybe shot gobble to that loud crow that was overhead, and you might be lucky to hear that one gobble, and just to let you know there is one nearby you're hunting, and then that gobbler could go completely silent. The woods aren't void of turkey. I'm telling you right now, just because you're not hearing the goblin that once broadcasted all over the woods like crazy during the early season, the woods aren't void of turkey. They're there. Biological research has proven, if you listen to like the Hunting Public podcast, the Southern Outdoorsman Hunting podcast, and I could keep naming podcasts. If you listen to a lot of podcasts on this topic, and you probably already know this, that research has proven that a turkey hunter a lot of times sitting up against a tree, not hearing any gobbling, not hearing scratching leaves, not hearing hens, not hearing any turkey at all, is automatically assuming there are no turkey anywhere around them in that area where they're hunting. But research has proven that the turkey are there. Turkey could be within 100 yards of that hunter. And that has been proven time and time again, where like hunters agreed to go out with radio telemetry gear. Turkey have been collared, have had radio telemetry gear attached to them in some way, shape, or form. And then these studies, research programs have gone on, and turkey hunters have gone in the woods, called, did their thing, hunted the way they normally would hunt turkey, and they got no response. Turkey were quiet. There's no gobbling, no hens being heard. The turkey hunters just would give up easily and leave, get up, walk away, just thinking there were no turkey anywhere around. When the research from the radio collar turkey or radio telemetry turkey, whatever they had for radio telemetry gear, I can only imagine what that might look like on a turkey. Research has proven that turkey were within 100, 200 or more, or even fewer yards of those hunters. And what happens a lot of times is a hunter gives up too early after calling. They might have sat there for a half hour, 40 minutes, maybe even an hour. That turkey hunter sat there, did some light calling, called, waited 20 minutes, called again, did another call, then maybe waited 20 minutes and thought, oh, there's no turkey here, and they got up and left. What happens, and this has been shown time and time again through research, 2 hours later, turkey have shown up, gobblers included. Gobblers have appeared right where that turkey hunter was sitting 2 hours after that turkey hunter left, after their last call. And I've actually witnessed that myself. Okay, this one particular hunting area, everybody, that I used to hunt years ago, I don't anymore. There's still turkey living there. I still will drive by and see gobblers in the blueberry field every now and then. But this one particular area that I hunted for several years, there was this like small acreage, maybe a 2-acre blueberry field tucked away in the woods, hidden off of the road, and it kind of sloped upward. It was a nice hilly blueberry ground with some really big, tall, thick white pine trees, good roosting trees in there. The turkey did roost on these pines and with 50 to 100 yards inside the woods off of this blueberry field, there was a four-wheeler trail that came around the blueberry field inside the woods about 20 yards off the edge of the blueberry ground. There were some oaks, some oak trees, and there was acorn trees. There was blueberry field. There were pines. There was great loafing areas, pine stands that gave some shade. That created like a microclimate, a cooler where it would be 20 degrees cooler. Created a great loafing midday, late morning, midday, early afternoon loafing area for them. There was roosting for them. There was feeding for them. It's just a great turkey area, great habitat for turkey. In this area, this happened to me more than once, more than one occasion in this exact location that I just described and painted a picture for all of you. I've gone in and sat up against a pine tree inside the woods about 20 yards, watching the field edge, watching in the woods. I gave myself shooting lanes within the woods, shooting lanes out to the field edge. And many a times I've sat there doing call and sequence. I don't use this turkey call hunting everybody. This call sounds horrible. I don't like the sound of this call. I just using this for weird demo. But I'd do some 2-3 note yell, 4 note yell. I do a call in sequence and then wait quiet, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Do another call in sequence, clucking, yelping. And I just sit quiet for 10 minutes. Do another call in sequence. I may have gone on like this for about an hour, 2 hours, probably even. I think there was this one particular experience I'm sharing with you. I think I've stayed there for 2 hours. About every 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes, I do a call in sequence. But after 2 hours, not hearing any gobbling, not seeing any turkey out in the field, I got up and left and went to other turkey hunting areas trying to strike a gobble. I went running and gunning in other areas, or I went driving dirt roads and stuff around other fields looking for turkey in other areas. And then to no avail. I'd have no success doing that. But I may have spent 2-3 hours tops checking other areas, and I'd come back to this first spot, this area that I just described to you, and I'd drive in, and there'd be gobblers in that field 2-3 hours later after I had been there calling. So I've witnessed this myself firsthand, and I've had this happen to me time and time again. How many of you have had this type of experience where you sat and called in the area, maybe stayed for an hour, maybe even more than an hour, and you've got up and left, went to other areas to try to strike up a gobbler, try to call in turkey in different areas, and then you may have maybe walked back. Maybe you were just on foot walking through the woods every 300 yards, quarter mile. So if you set up, do a blind call in sequence, or maybe just keep going and running and gunning, trying to provoke distant gobble. And then 2 hours later, 3 hours later, you've hiked back, you backtracked towards your vehicle, and you've walked back to the first spot you called, and you've jumped gobblers. Turkey were there in the first location you called. How many of you have had that experience before? And that's what the research has proven time and time again. Turkey hunters need to be more patient. What the takeaway here with what I'm telling all of you is you need to develop patience. If you're not, there's two types of turkey hunters, right? The impatient run and gun type hunter, that will always be that type of hunter. And there's the patient hunter like me, where I'll sit all day, wait all day in an area for gobbler, and I've had success doing it. But research and in my real life experience that I just share with you, and your real life experiences should teach you and me included, and all turkey hunters, that we need to be more patient as turkey hunters. Patience wins all when it comes to turkey hunting. Research has proven this. And now here we are, late season turkey hunting, and this is where patience matters the most. Okay, I'm going to pause briefly to read people's comments. So those of you that are here with me, I asked a question earlier. Did any of you answer? See, Joe Dutiel says, "Oh, drop my bird off at the taxidermist for a 3-course. Sorry for your cancer. I've had it for 5. I hope you get better soon. Oh wow, Joe, you've had. So Joe, do tell, you've had you have cancer, buddy? I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, see up here we have Rachel Morgan. She's saying her boys have cancer, Zayden and Xavian. So if Rachel's still here, did you see that, Rachel? Joe Dutil gives his condolences. He's not condol. No, that's for when someone passes. No, we're staying hopeful here, everybody. Everyone send your prayers, please, for Rachel and her family, as they're battling cancer. Joe, send prayers. Everyone keep Joe in your thoughts, too, and prayers. He's battling cancer, I believe. April says hi. Hi, April. Jason gives us a hi. Hi, Jason. Thanks for coming on, buddy. We've got a couple folks here mentioning cancer in their family, Jason. And so I want everyone to keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Just go ahead and. Where's my pen? All right. So Jason, buddy, look at this. Joe Dutil, he says he dropped a. I look grainy on there. Joe dropped his bird off to the taxidermist. No, I had cancer when I was 20. Oh, okay. Yeah. You were 21. Wow. That's. So I'm writing Rachel down. Rachel's name, Rachel Morgan. Writing her name down, everybody. Rachel Morgan and her boys' names. Zayden and Xavier. I think it's a silent X. I think you say Xavier. Jaden and Xavier. Xavier. All right. So there's my prayer list. I should be writing all of your names down. It does not hurt, does it, to have you in people's prayers, thoughts and prayers. We all should pray for another. Yes, to all that need it. Congrats, Joe. Yes. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, Joey got a nice bird, I'd say. You dropped her off to the taxidermist. Sweet. Awesome, Joe. Congratulations on your bird. So Jason, I understand, Jason, buddy. Jason Gibson, that sent through your emails you've sent me that you finally saw a turkey. Is that the first turkey you've seen all season? I believe. Late season turkey hunting can be some of the best turkey hunting there is out there. As long as you can be the patient, as long as you can muster the willpower to be patient and sit like half a day all day. I've sat 6 hours for killing a nice 3-year-old gobbler. I did that just last year on an off and on kind of rain showery day. There'd be sporadic showers. Sat 6 hours for a gobbler last year. I sat all day from like 4:30 in the morning till 5 something p.m. to kill a big. This turkey fan spread right here behind me. This was an all-day sit bird. This was a big, older, mature 3+-year-old gobbler right here. Sat till 5:30 plus p.m. and he come in silently, not saying a peep, no gobbling. When he eventually committed and came in to my decoy spread, he attacked the Jake decoy I had out there with a hen in front of the blind, and I killed him. But mentioning this gobbler, this is going to be another hunting story I'm going to share with all of you. Another experience of mine, personal life experience on a late season. This was a 3rd week gobbler. This was 3 weeks into the season, where we are now. I believe we're almost at the end of the 3rd week of the turkey hunting season. I believe. Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's 2 weeks. There's 2 weeks left of the turkey season. I think the Maine's Northeastern Wild Turkey Hunt ends the first Saturday in June, I believe. I think there's 2 weeks left. We're like near the end of the 3rd week. We're late. We're pretty much knocking right on the door to the late season hunt right now. We're butting right into the late season. I've already had hens in front of my turkey hunting blind with 12 poults. Had a hen just the other day out in front of my blind with 12 poults. I got awesome video. These video clips I got of her with her poults will be used in future videos on my channel, Spikes and Gills. I upload weekly on my Spikes and Gills YouTube channel, everybody, so definitely subscribe to Spikes and Gills if you haven't already. And if you could, definitely hit the like button on this live stream for me. Great, appreciate it. That just helps the algorithm push it out to further audiences and stuff. So definitely click like right now. Definitely subscribe to Spikes and Gills. Click the notification bell to be notified of all future uploads. This hen that I filmed with her poults, she had 12. There was another hen with poults of her own. Down also that I had a trail camera notifying me of further down the road in a different spot. So there's at least 2 hens I know of in my hunting area currently that have poults. So their clutches hatched. So the hens are already traveling the landscape with poults right now. We're about midway through 3 weeks. If it's late season, if hens aren't vocalizing, if hens aren't needing to breed, and then gobblers, why do they need to give their location away to predators? Why do gobblers need to be gobbling to announce their whereabouts if there's no hens on the landscape to breed? Breeding for the turkey have pretty much come to a halt. There may be 10% hens still out there that aren't bred yet. There are some hens that may have their have had clutches fail. A clutch is a nest. Their nests may have failed. They may be back out, scrolling, searching for gobblers. They may be available again for breeding. So what once was like 80-90% breeding availability 2 weeks ago and a month ago, 80-90% breeding ability is now maybe down to like 10-15% breeding ability for the gobblers and go and gobblers. You may have noticed this yourself, everybody. Right now, too, gobblers that once acted like enemies and hated each other because of that pecking order they established. You'll have your more dominant, older, mature gobblers fight with jakes. A group of jakes may fight and chase off gobbler, and there's an order established in here. You got your older, more mature, dominant gobblers chasing off and fighting away, spurring and batting with their wings other gobblers, and jakes chasing them off so that they can keep their harem of hens, so they can have the breeding rights for the hens in that area. And that happened, and then now they're acting like best buddies. The gobblers, it's so funny. They're such a weird bird. Gobblers are now acting like they didn't beat each other up 2 weeks early, a month ago, and several weeks earlier. They're now tolerating one another, and they're grouping up and hanging like bros, best buddies in there. That's happening now. And how many of you have noticed that? So yeah, gobblers are grouping back up. Hens are with poults. Some hens are still on their nests. Hens don't need to breed. Blah, blah, blah. Why gobble? Why yelp? Why do the hens need to? And especially hens with poults. They don't teach their poults to yelp off. I mean, this hen in front of my blind with her 12 poults, she was being vocal. I couldn't hear her at 20 yards. But when she was within 5 steps of my blind, and I've got awesome video footage of this hen with her poults, I could hear her really, really light, muffled clucks or like purring. I could hear the peeps from the poults. Poults were making a little peeping sound. But when they would go out there to 20, 30 plus yards or further, I couldn't hear them calls anymore. There were times when I heard the hen I've heard calls that I never heard before too. She was doing her really light muffled calling to her poults, just to teach them. She was imprinting on them their home range, how the poults were learning from Mama Hen. And one important thing that she was teaching them is to not be vocal and loud and broadcast your whereabouts to predators, to coyotes and bobcat, hawks, and so forth, so on. So why does it make sense that gobblers should be gobbling constantly and be vocalizing, given broadcasting their whereabouts also to predators? They're not. There's no reason for gobblers to gobble right now unless it's maybe a shock gobble to something very loud out of the ordinary where they just can't help themselves and but a shock gobbles aren't the gobble that you want to hear. That means that bird was startled and they may have run off. After the shock gobble, they probably ran away from whatever made them shock gobble, and they could be further away from where you initially think they might be, and then the gig's up, right? And then you might not be able to call that gobbler in because they were spooked by something possible because of that shock gobble. That can happen. That could be a scenario that's playing out. So really, right now, at this time, late season hunting, the turkey hunter really needs to just set it out. And it really entails scouting. Let the landscape right now, everybody, tell you that you're in the right spot. Not the gobbling. You're not going to hear the gobbles anyway. Let the landscape, but in all the data you collected from past hunts in all your turkey hunting areas, you should already have a good handle on knowing where turkey like to dust bathe. We're all dust bathing. You should already have a good handle and grasp on knowing where the gobblers have strut zones, the dirt roads that they strut on and gobble in the field, and that knoll, that shady like hillside underneath the pines that could where the gobblers have been strutting and gobbling. There's a strut zone, field edge maybe, or a trail. There's strut zones that you should already know about, and travel ways. Right now, I don't know if all of you know this, but right now travel routes are more predictable right now. You can right now late season pattern gobblers travel from roosting area to loafing, midday hangout, resting, loafing areas, to feeding, great afternoon, evening feeding areas, and then back to their roosting area. Right now they're more predictable. Travel for gobblers is way more predictable. If you go out there and you're finding their sign, find their tracks, find the dust mouth, the scratching, the scat, let the sign and the landscape just let the landscape tell you where you should sit, and do your ambush, and wait out those gobblers. And you can, by all means, do the covert call, and that really minimally do the light calling. Quiet, maybe cluck. And how many of you know this and understand this? In late season, when gobblers that were once enemies were beating each other and didn't seem like they didn't like each other, or beating each other up to win breeding rights over hens or harem of hens, group of hens, or just hen in general, they now want to group back up. They now want to have a bromance party and be best bros and travel together. Right now, gobblers are clucking. Clucks could be a dynamite call for you right now. Gobblers are clucking a real deep. It's not a putt. Gobbler clucks, and a lot of times even hen clucking, sometimes sounds like putting, but it's not. Putting to a startled turkey that puts, they're I mean, that's putting, that's a putt, but this isn't. There's a pause in it. There's a cluck, and then the pause. Cluck, and a pause. It would behoove you to actually be out there all the time. Get out there, hunt all that you can, stay all day, learn everything about the woods around you, all the turkey in your area by sitting all day. It will amaze you what you learn. I have so much to welled up in here that I want to share with all of you from my all-day sits, and I'm going to try to touch on bits and pieces of it right now in this live stream. I can't. This live stream won't go on long enough for me to share with you all that I've learned from my long 6-hour, 8-hour all-day sits, and all that I've learned through the years turkey hunting. There's not going to be enough time tonight in this live stream to share it all. But see, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm tongue-tied here. I'm losing my train of thought. June 4th it ends. Yeah. Thank you, Jason, for that, buddy. So yeah, our season ends that first Saturday, June. Yeah, so it's like a 5-week long turkey hunt in Maine. It's a long season, so we have plenty of time. There's still like 2 weeks left, or by 2.5 weeks. Plenty of time to get a gobbler if you haven't already, or to fill that last tag. So, a dynamite call-in tactic right now in late season, where I was going with this, is cluck, just simple clucking. Because it's an assembly type call. It's a contact call. Hey, I'm over here. It's an assembly call. Gobblers want to group back up with one another, or to find other gobblers to hang with and travel with. There's safety in numbers, right? Especially when it comes to turkey. Safety in numbers. So the gobblers right now, late season, they want to group back up, and they're clucking. Now, where earlier I was just trying to mention that I was go on to say it would behoove you to all. It would be awesome if all turkey hunters would go out there and spend a lot of time in the woods and have turkey in front of them that they can emulate. They can just learn from. Pick a hen on your hunts. Have just on any hunt where you have hens vocalizing, or it actually, when you'll be able to get a lot of vocalization out of a hen is going hunting with one lone hen decoy. On your next hunt, I challenge all of you to take a blind with you so you can get away with all the movement in the world so it doesn't screw up what you're about to learn. Take a blind with you. Go set that blind up the night before, almost right on the edge of dark, if not in the dark. Set a blind up. And then go out there in the dark, early morning, an hour before first light. Take your lone hen decoy, set that decoy out there 20 yards from your blind, and just sit there all day, stay in that blind. Let the hens and poults will come around. They're not going to be frightened by that decoy. They'll let the hens come around. Do your light covert call. Just every now and then do a 2-note covert yelp. Just assembly type. Just light calling. Just a few clocks. Some 2-3-note yelps. Nothing more than just be quiet for a long time, half hour before you ever call again. Just do minimal light calling and just sit there watching the hen, watching, waiting. Those hens, man, when they come in, they'll immediately upon seeing that decoy, they'll cluck. And I want you to learn from this hen. Listen closely to what she's doing, to all of her vocalizations, and take it all in. Learn from this experience, and on your next hunt after that, like, take with you what you learned from those hens vocalizations and mimic those on your next hunt. It will amaze you how many turkey you'll call in, how many hens and jakes and gobblers. I mean, I've had sitting all day doing periodic call-in sequences, not calling too much, but just every now and then, every 20, 30 plus, or even sometimes wait 40 minutes before I'd call again. I've had like a hen come in, then they'd go off, they'd go somewhere. I've had other hens, I've had jakes come by, and before eventually a gobbler that I was willing to shoot came in, and early on, before the gobbler finally came, close distance, I was able to shoot, fill a gobbler tag. I learned so much by just listening and observing, and I've mimicked those hens exactly on future hunts. And one thing I've learned is that when a hen sees another hen or another turkey in general, a lot of times she'll cluck once, and then there'll be a pause. I don't know how long, 5 seconds, 10-second pause before she cluck again. And as she closed the distance to my hen decoy, and then she cluck again. And this is a call-in tactic that you could be using right now, late season, everybody. That's why I'm sharing this with you. And I've witnessed, as I've had this experience late season, third week, fourth weekend to the turkey hunt. And this hen, she kept coming. She clucked. And there'd be a pause, 5 seconds maybe, and she'd cluck again. And once she got within like 10 yards of the hen decoy, then she went to like purring and a cluck and purring. And she'd purr and ruffle a fezzle bit and circle the hen decoy and she'd stand there with her neck stretched high, and she'd cluck some more, and she'd cluck again, and she'd purr a little bit before she floated off over to here, over to my left, and then she just went to feeding, grazing with that my hen. The hen eventually went like 20 yards away from my hen decoy on this particular experience I'm sharing with you. And she was only about 20 yards to my left of my blind, and I heard with my own ears and witnessed her real live covert calling. She was doing that anyway, right from the start, right from when she first laid her eyes on my decoy, she started covert calling, just contact calling to that hen, just assembly calling, just trying to provoke a call from that other hen. She just wanted to communicate with that hen. She'd cluck, but when she went over here to my left of my blind, she'd feed and she'd do 2-note yelp. And she'd feed some more and she'd do a 2-note yelp. And I almost wouldn't have ever heard that 2-3-note yelp. She never yelped more than 2 or 3 times in a yelp. And I want to say if she even went 10 yards, 20 yards further, I may not have heard it myself. But turkey have incredible hearing. They can hear a gobbler in ideal conditions. Obviously, you got to take in consideration wind and terrain, topography, whether or not the gobbler is on a hill and not down in a river bottom or stream bottom or down in the swamp, in a holler somewhere, down in the ravine. You got to take in consideration that whether or not that gobbler is in a spot or in an ideal spot with ideal weather conditions to hear very well, but he can hear a mile away that covert calling. And oh yeah, you don't believe me? Just research it. Google it right now. Chat GBT it or use AI, whatever. Research it yourself, man. That their hearing is incredible. With offset openings and the cocking of their head. They have like radar sharp, pinpoint, exact. I know where that hen is exactly. What type of hearing? I mean, it's that incredible. So that covert calling, a gobbler can hear that almost a mile away. You know, in an ideal condition, he's on a hill, kind of fairly open woodland. That calling is resonating to that gobbler's to wherever he is, and oh yeah, I mean you don't need to call any louder than that. Just light covert calling every now and then, spread periodically, and especially in late season. Yeah, so I challenge you guys to on your next hunt maybe use a blind and just one single lone hen decoy. That a late season, just a lone single hen decoy works wonderfully, right? Because you've got all the hens either nesting or with poults. And a lot of times, what hens that haven't been bred yet and that aren't nesting are still lone traveling the landscape by themselves are jennies, your immature hens. And the gobblers, they see her. She may be vocalizing, doing some covert calling and attracting gobblers to her whereabouts. And they could be following her. They could be 100, 200 yards behind her, strutting, trying to get her to stop. They could be trying to attract her to them for breeding, right? So right now, those young, immature hens roaming the landscape. That's what gobblers are used to seeing. That's what they're seeing now. So that one lone hen decoy could work dynamite for you right now, and sit it out all day. I challenge you to, and it'll amaze you at what you'll learn. Another thing I've learned from sitting all day with turkey on a turkey hunt is I've learned that they have a loop, a circuit. I've learned that turkey always loop back. Oh my word! I've had this experience a couple times this year already. Last year, several times. Every single year that I turkey hunt, because I'm patient, I sit half a days, full day, almost full days, from sun up to sundown. I've learned time and time again, and I experienced firsthand that turkey that you're watching now up there 100 yards, and gobblers you're hearing, gobbler every now and then, and gobblers aren't committed to your setup, gobblers that you may not have been able to call into your set, they will, if you sit there, remain patient, don't move, don't leave, they will eventually circle back. They they do all the time. They always do. That's how I got this turkey here over my right shoulder. I never left that field. I never left that blind. I saw him first thing in the morning. I mean, it was like between 6 or 7 in the morning. Came off the power line into the blueberry field. He didn't commit to the decoys. He wouldn't come into any calling. He'd gobble and strut out there and fan him. But he went off. I remember I every now and then periodically hear him gobble. I'd hear him gobble a half a mile away. Then hours went by, I heard him gobble behind me. I don't know how far, half a mile, quarter mile behind. And then time would go on, I heard this exact turkey right here, this gobbler, heard him gobble to my right. Heard him gobbling throughout the day, periodically, in a big wide circle around me. And eventually, come 5:30, sometime after 5 p.m., he did, because obviously throughout the day, all day long, I'm sitting there bored. It's a boring hunt. I was obviously periodically calling, doing some calling. That gobbler always knew of my whereabouts. He knew there was a hen there. He clearly was henned up. He knew of another hen or other hens. He was with hens. That's why he wasn't committing to me at that point in time. He didn't want to come in just yet. He had other hens to tend to or breed, and that's what he was doing. He was breeding other hens. But once those hens had nothing to do with him, they were either off laying their eggs or with their nest. He was left lonely. This is more, this type of scenario plays out more now late season than ever. You have lonely gobblers on the landscape, lonely looking for companionship, wanting to come into the hens and stuff. Yeah. So he eventually come in, silent too. He never said a peep. I didn't even know he was coming. He came in completely silently. From wherever the time was when I last called and didn't call anymore, he came in, never gobbled, never announced his location. I didn't even know he was coming. He came in behind my blind. I heard the spitting and drumming, and that got my attention. Then he came out, almost full fan, rushing to my Jake decoy and attacked my Jake decoy before I shot him. And that was a late season. That was the end of the third week, the third Saturday of the season. This was a late season gobbler hunt success story, and it took all day to get him. And I never had to leave that location where I was in my blind. I never had to leave. I stayed right there all day, everybody. He circled. He did his thing. He went on. He knew I was there. The gobblers will know that you're there. They heard you. If you're calling, you're a hen. They do not want to give up a breeding opportunity. All gobblers want to breed. If they know there's a hen there vocalizing, giving her location away, that's a breeding opportunity to that gobbler. You're touching all the right buttons in his head for breeding. No gobbler wants to give up a breeding opportunity. So you got to keep that in mind. And that's what was in his mind. Oh, there's another. Okay, I'm done with these hens. These hens are nesting in their other nest. So they just biologically, they separated for whatever reason, the hens, probably because of nesting. And he was left alone. He was like, oh, wait. He remembered you. Remembered me. There's a hen. Another hen I haven't bred yet. And in he come. He circled back. And I've seen hens do that too with their poults. The all-day sit I did just the other day, I had just the 2 hens I saw in my all-day sit the other day. I watched this hen with her 12 poults. Eventually, I called in another, I think a lone hen that didn't have poults. And that hen with the poults, by the way, I got to witness this, see this. And this was cool. And this was from sitting all day and just observing and listening and watching. That hen with the poults beelined it for that. She charged that lone hen, chased her off, ran her off. And that was cool to witness and experience. And I got that all in video and everything. So that was awesome. And so I watched them. The hen poults went off out of sight. I know where they went to, in the corner of the field towards the pines. They went probably into the pines where it was cooler. It got warm. They went up in the shade and loafed around, milled around in their loafing area. And this hen did the same. She went into the pines and down in the kind of the wetland near the swamp type area and the cool area over this way into the pine hemlock area that I know about that they really like to hang and loaf during midday. So that hen went this way. They did their thing, and they circled back. They came from behind the blind, came from a different direction this way. They eventually, hours later in the afternoon, about 4 or 5, about 4 p.m., 3, 4 p.m., those hens circled back towards their nightly, evening roosting, like hangout areas and roosting areas. They all do that. I learned this from my all-day sits that they all turkey are on some type of circuit, like a loop-like circuit. It's not a perfect circle. It could be oval, rectangular. It could be an odd. They could just be traveling field edges and hanging in the heat of the day, hanging up under some pines. And, and yes, turkey will lay down. They will legitimately lay down on the ground in a breezy area, and just lay there for several hours. I watched. Oh yeah, I mean, you guys are probably thinking, man, this guy's got patience of steel. I've sat and watched a gobbler hardly even blink. I only think he turned his head a few times. I watched a gobbler laying down for 2+ hours before he ever stood up. Down in the trees under some pines, tall pines. I I was behind my ghost blind during this particular hunt. I watched. He stayed there, laying down for 2 hours. This gobbler before he ever got up. Yes, turkey will lay up and lay and rest midday and heat of day in a loafing area up in some pines. So find all those areas in your hunting grounds. Find the dust bath areas. Find the strutting zone areas. Figure out the roosting areas. Figure out the loafing areas, feeding areas. Kind of sit in a central hub location. This particular area that I keep, this area that I hunt, it's like a central hub. I figured this all out through the years of hunting here. I learned that where I hunt, where I have my blind, it's almost like a central hub of a bicycle tire. And then obviously got all your spokes. The spokes are all the travel routes and travelways to and from feeding, loafing areas, dust bathe areas, scratching areas, strut zone areas, so forth, so on. And I'm like set up right in the central hub, right in the center of all these roosting areas. This roosting area this way, areas I know got turkey roost this way behind me, areas I know turkey will roost this way and this way. Like 4 different roosting locations around this central hub of mine where I'll sit. So it would be awesome if all of you could figure all this out in your hunting area to have future success. And so yeah, turkey, they go on a circuit loop. They always circle back. Just remember that. Always keep that back in your mind. This should give you hope and courage to fill that last late season turkey gobbler tag that you've got, or even shoot your first gobbler of the season. So always remember they circle back. Why leave? You've been there calling. You might have a lone hen decoy out there too, as well. Those gobblers know you're there. They're just going about doing what turkey do, doing their thing. When they're done with what they're doing, they're not going to want to also keep this in your mind to give you hope and courage that they don't want to give up a breeding opportunity. Man to man, would you? Right? I mean, if you were, okay, you're in high school, single man, single lady, you're lonely, you want to date. Yeah, I mean, what we 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 it's just in our biology, it's our nature. For them, for us, for all animals, we don't want to give up an opportunity for courtship, for companionship, right? For future marriage and so forth. And why would we want to give that up? They don't. Clearly, it's the time. It's biologically what's going on now. It's turkey breeding season. A gobbler of this stature, this age, does not want to give up a breeding opportunity, especially when they feel like it's going to be an easy breeding opportunity, when they know that hen's in that field over there, right? Or on that field edge. He knows right where you are. He's going to eventually circle back around looking for. You may eventually, after sitting there all day, eventually hear him gobble to let you know, oh, he's coming back. Oh boy, to boost your confidence and that it's going to happen. So stay there, stick it out, be patient. Yeah, and it could happen, very well happen for you guys, like it has for me time and time again late season. So the takeaway here, everybody, chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you. So chat got disconnected. Bummer. So are you guys all still there? So takeaway here from this live stream, everybody, is late season. Clearly the gobbling has almost ceased. There could be some shock gobbling going on, but they don't want to give their whereabouts away. Why would they gobble constantly and attract predators, right? They're a preying species. They know that. There's things out there that eat turkey. Hens aren't vocalizing very much as well. They have poults or they're on their nests. They're not yelping to give gobblers, to attract gobblers, to communicate to gobblers that there's a hen available for breeding, and so forth. Gobblers aren't gobbling. Gobblers are grouping back up late season, and they're clucking. Another takeaway here is that you want to use assembly type calls like contact assembly, just covert type calling. Gobblers are clucking often to keep each other in the loop, to stay grouped up, to communicate with one another. They're clucking. A lone gobbler that wants to find a companionship, find another buddy to hang with, is clucking periodically to try to find other gobblers. Just light covert calling's all I need to do for as far as calling tactic goes late season. Just 2 note yelps, 3 note yelps, just that feeding contentment type covert calling, right? This real light yelping, purring, every now and then some clucking. That's all you need to do every 20 plus minutes, if there are maybe every 30 minutes. And also you want to already know gobblers' travel patterns and are pretty consistent. You can travel in gobblers' travel routes are more predictable right now in late season. Roost to feed, dust bathing areas, strut zone. Their gobblers will go to visit all their strut zones from earlier, from where they were successfully with hens, where the gobblers will, when they come out of the roost, they'll go about their circuit. They'll loop, checking dust bathing areas, checking strutting zones. Strutting zones a lot of times are also loafing areas. They and oh, I should have mentioned this earlier. Late, it doesn't even matter about what time you get up. Late season, you can sleep in late season too. Midday hunting, late season, midday. There's a ton of midday movement by gobblers. Gobblers are lonely. They're without hens and they're traveling their home range, their landscape midday, looking for available hens, and just there's a lot of midday movement by gobblers anyway. Just didn't know if you knew that. I forgot to mention that. So mid morning, late morning, midday, early afternoon is dynamite time to hunt late season. You could actually sleep in a couple extra hours before you go out to your hunting ground and kind of slip in to your loafing area, the midday, late morning, midday kind of area up under the pines where it's going to be cooler when the sun is high and the temperature gets high, gets hot. Have yourself already ambushing a loafing area and wait them out, wait them gobblers to finally circle around and to check that strut zone or that loafing area before. And you could be very well sitting in the right spot, the right moment, and fill a gobbler tag. And see what else. I was going down, doing a conclusion here, going down the list of late season pointers here that I want you to take away with you on your next hunt. Let's see, yeah. So let the land let you know where to be, where the best late season hunting would be. Saw the sign and just in your previous hunting seasons, all the data you've accumulated over the years, just let all that let you know where you should be late season to wait it out, be patient, wait hours on it for these gobblers to eventually come by. Don't be surprised if you have 3, 4, 5, 7. Last year I had 7 gobblers. After 6 hours of sitting and periodically calling, I had 7 gobblers come to within 25 yards of my blind before I finally shot one of them, longbeards. And that was a late season. That was a third Saturday of the season last year, actually. End of the third week last year. And that those gobblers, they went about their daily routine off their roost. They did their thing, hit all their spots. They were probably hitting each spot where they've known hens to hang and be. They probably did some feeding. Probably did a little milling around, loafing under some pines over here. They eventually kind of drifted. Okay, drift. How many of you have heard of the term drifting in turkey terminology, turkey hunting terminology? Drifting. Turkey flock of turkeys like kind of like a raft drifting on a lake, right? And they're at one moment over here doing their thing, doing what turkey do, and then they just kind of drift or float, if you will, over to here to the spot. That's what they're doing on the land in their area. And what once was a little bit larger home range for them earlier in the season. I mean, no, well, what once was a large home range, like come early spring, winter, early spring, it shrunk down. Come peak breeding time, the gobblers, the mature gobblers, especially had their hens that they stayed with, little harem of hens that they stuck with. Hens don't go far; they never travel far. Their home ranges are slightly small. Especially with nesting hens that have nests, they don't stray far from their nesting area. So that their travel patterns, kind of their travel whereabouts, home. I mean, do I want to use home range? It kind of shrinks up, right? And then now late season, their home range kind of expanded a little bit more. They're kind of they're kind of floating about their home range, just kind of looking for other turkey, looking for hens, other gobblers. They're out there clucking, they're doing covert call, they're feeding, they're laying down, resting under pines. When it gets hot, they're just doing what turkey do, right? And that raft of turkeys is eventually going to, if you're in the right spot. Right now, too, pretty much location is important. You want to have the right. You want to be. There's another thing that I should have mentioned way earlier in the live stream, everybody. You want to be set up where the gobblers want to go, not where you want to go personally. You've got to be where all the sign says, okay, gobblers are going to be here. The gobbler scat, strut, drag marks from strut gobblers, the gobbler tracks to and from, going all directions. This food, maybe the seasonal food things they're feeding on right now currently, all that, and scratch and sign and so forth, so on, and maybe even in hens being nearby, all that, and just in the geography of the land too. There's knowing that there's okay, shady pines, loafing area right there. You want to be set up near their late morning, midday loafing area with all the sign letting you know that that's a perfect spot to be. You want to be where the gobblers are going to go. Want to be not where it looks good to you. You got to be in location's key here, man. You've got to be in the right spot, everybody, and it will all play out. It will all come together eventually if you wait and stick it out, be patient. Eventually those gobblers will drift or float, kind of drift your way. And you don't even necessarily have to do any calling. A lot of times, 90% of the time, late season, it's best to just be quiet and be patient and quiet and wait it out. That's it. That's pretty much the least. You're deer hunting for turkey. It's boring. It can be a boring sit. It's a very boring way to hunt turkey. It's not, like I mentioned in the way beginning of this live stream, everybody, it's not the pretty way to hunt turkey. It's the deer hunting approach, with the sitting all day, being bored and being dozing off, so forth. But it works late season if you go about it the right way. If you piece all these pieces of the puzzle that I just mentioned in this live stream, that I kind of told you, piece all the puzzles together, and you'll figure it out. You'll know the perfect location, the perfect spot to go and just be there and don't leave. I recommend using a blind, a ghost blind, a regular pop-up blind. I recommend being in a blind so you don't get busted from movement. If you're doing an all-day set, you're most likely going to be in a blind. If you're just going to run and gun, you're going to periodically move to different areas and blind call. Late season is pretty much blind calling. You're hardly, if ever, you might be lucky to get a response from a gobbler, but it's slim chances late season. So you're pretty much blind calling, but there's still hunters that are doing this. Is still a hunting tactic you can use with success too, late season. But you're blind calling. You're not going to get much response out of the gobblers or hens or not any turkey for that matter. You could still sit for an hour, go 100, 200 yards, sit for another hour, blind call. That's another boring approach to it really. But if you're going to do this all day type sitting approach, being patient is waiting them out, definitely use a blind. But in the run and gun approach, obviously you're not using a blind. You don't need to, because it's easier to sit still for an hour than it is for 6, 8, or 10 hours. So definitely I recommend using a blind for this late season approach tactic for the all day sit for big mature gobbler. All right, so before I go, does anyone have any questions? Chat. So any questions? Chat. I wonder why it's disconnected. So has late season gobblers. How did you do it? Yeah, so has anyone else ever shot late season gobblers? And what was your approach or tactics? How did you go about doing it? And another thing too, another approach that you can do late season is put the gobblers to bed. Just know where gobblers exist, where they are, and just when I watch them from afar with a spotting scope or binoculars, just like figure out where gobblers actually went to roost, and having done your thorough scouting and just knowing your turkey in your hunting area, going first thing in the morning, setting up where you know those gobblers are going to eventually appear off the roost. Be in a spot first thing in the morning. You no calling necessary. Do not call. Just be sitting where you know those gobblers, when they fly off the roost, are going to drift towards. Remember the analogy I was sharing with you with the group of gobblers being a raft in a lake, just drifting and floating about their home range. Late season, they're going on their circuit, their circle, their loop, if you will, doing their thing, feeding here, loafing, resting here, going looking for hens over here in this dust bathing area, going checking this strutting zone, and then drifting over to this feeding area before circling back to their roosting area. Remember that analogy I shared with you? That's what's going on. So you can use this approach and putting them to bed, knowing exactly the night before where they roosted, and slipping in very quietly and stealthily and setting up in a location where you know they're going to drift to an hour, 2 hours into first light, and you'll be able to get your gobbler that way. That's another approach tactic for late season gobbler hunting. So how have all of you done it in the past for your late season gobbler success? Let me know. All right, so yeah, so definitely yeah, definitely click the like button for me if you could. Subscribe to my channel, Spikes and Gills. Click the notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. I'd greatly appreciate extra follow, everybody. Definitely check the description below the videos, all my videos, to see that I have a 15% discount code for Guard Pro trail cameras, Wi-Fi, cellular, non-cellular, conventional trail cameras. Go to the Guard Pro website to browse all their products, all their trail cameras, and you can use my code in the description below my videos, my 15% discount code. They always are running 30%, 20% discount sales anyway, and you can add the additional 15% to the sale and get a heck of a deal on a trail camera by Guard Pro, GARDEPRO. It's Guardy Pro. Oh, go to Guardy Pro. Typed it there in the comment. Yeah, and you can make sure to copy my. It's Justin 15 1084 20 52 52, something like that. Copy of the 15% off code. You can click on the Guard Pro website link right in the description to go immediately right to the website to shop their cameras and use my discount code, everybody, to purchase whatever Guardy Pro trail cameras you want. So yeah, they have the Guardy Pro trail cameras, man. They're a standalone trail cam company. Their motto is "Scout smart, not hard," right? And they never started with other products. They were always right from day one a trail cam company. So they really have gone gone in deep into trail camera technology and coming out with like awesome trail cameras that do more than the conventional than other trail cam models. And they have an awesome Guardi Pro hub, internet Wi-Fi hub that you can connect, like I think it's 16 other Wi-Fi cameras to. They have awesome, superb Wi-Fi trail cameras that can send that can communicate to the Wi-Fi hub to 3,000 out to 3,000 feet. So if you have private land, private property, private hunting property, maybe you've turned your hunting camp into an internet hotspot, so you could have the Guardi Pro Wi-Fi hub hooked up to your camp, and you could have 16, a dozen or more Wi-Fi Guardi Pro trail cameras set out to 1,500 feet, 1,000 feet, up to 3,000 feet away, sending you immediate uploads to the Guardi Pro app connected to all of the cameras, the cellular trail cameras, the Wi-Fi trail cameras. You get immediate notifications, and there's live view. They have live view available on some of their cellular trail cameras. You could get an immediate notification of a deer, and then right then and there, go to the app and watch it live. And you can record and download on your phone so many seconds or minutes of the live viewing of that animal, and then you have a cool little video to share and stuff and use. So yeah, there's live view Guardi Pro trail cameras, there's Wi-Fi trail cameras that reach out to 3,000 feet, they communicate to the hub 3,000 feet, and they have just some really cool cameras that you've got to check out. Just remember to go to the description below all my YouTube videos and these live streams, copy my 15% discount code, and then you can use the Guardi Pro link already right in my description to go immediately right to the Guardi Pro website to start browsing what they have for cameras and use my 15% discount. In addition to whatever sale they're already running, you could get as much as 30 to 50% off on some of their trail cameras. So yeah, definitely worth checking out and considering. So yeah, and then obviously too, if you've been following along, watching my other live streams, you've learned about my books. If you go into the description below my videos, there's the PayPal links to order my book, Wild Maine Outdoors Hunting Tactics, Tricks, and Secrets, and the Sit Spot, Discovering the Forest Near You. So you can go into the description below my videos and click on the PayPal links to order any one of or both of my books. And you can obviously use the Guardi Pro 15% discount code too to get some cool deal on some Guardi Pro trail cameras. So I thank you everybody for joining this Wednesday night. I go live every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. So definitely mark it on your calendars. Set an alarm on your phones for Wednesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Spikes and Gills goes live, everybody. Have that alarm set for every Wednesday of every week, 8:30 p.m. If I, for some reason, am not going live, it's because I was on a hunt that day, or because of work obligations, family or work obligations, or I was ill, or just really tired, don't want to, or I was hunting. Those are the reasons I might not go live. But for the most part, for all intents and purposes, my live streams are Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. So set your alarms, mark your calendars, so forth, so on. So thank you, everybody, for joining this live stream. I hope if you definitely learned something here, if this live stream was helpful to you any way, shape, or form to help you gain the confidence to fill a late season gobbler tag, and definitely click the like button and definitely subscribe to my channel before you go. I'd greatly appreciate it, everybody. So until next Wednesday night, I wish all of you guys the best of luck out there in the turkey woods. Go get yourself a gobbler. Good night, everybody.